Welcome back, Last Quest Barbecue Show. What on earth are we thinking here? The Game of Thrones root beer chicken. Well, this could be a fun episode. First of all, thanks for subscribing and keep following on the gram and TikTok and all that stuff, and really loving your comments on Instagram. So thank you for that. All right, so this cook is inspired by Matt Pittman at Meat Church. He did a great episode. I'm going to make a few tweaks to it. It is a derivative, so to speak, of beer can chicken. So there's lots of science about whether there's actually moisture imbued into the chicken. I don't know, but it's kind of fun. So we're going to do it anyway. Now, what we're going to do here for our throne, we're going to use one of these, a ceramic throne. That's right. So we're not using a can because I don't want any of the heat and anything released from that aluminum and whatever is on the aluminum. So we're going to use this thrones, hence the throne, right? By the way, check that hat out. Bucket hat, thanks to Ted Starkman and all the great folks at Stream Commerce for giving me this funky hat, which my wife doesn't love on me, but I'm wearing it on the show anyway. So there you go. Root beer, Canadian root beer. There you go. A&W root beer, a classic. And all real cane sugar. You'll see how we use that. Of course, we got a beautiful organic chicken here from Yorkshire Valley Farms. Beautiful, beautiful. And then a bunch of seasonings are going to go on. We're using the YS chicken seasoning, and we're using the YS beef rub in it. And we got 3 farmers, and we got a whole bunch of stuff. For ketchup, we're using Hughes. Woo, check that out. There's going to be lots of stuff going on here, so let's get started. All right, let's get going. So this first phase is pretty straightforward. Dale Strom knife, open up our chicken. There we go. All right, we got a beautiful chicken here. Let's check it out. We'll just do a bit of trimming. Don't really need all this stuff, so let's get that trimmed out. But otherwise, it is ready to go right on to our throne. So first thing we're gonna do is season up our chicken. First, we're gonna put a little bit of Camelina oil on it. Now, in Meat Church, he brined his chicken for 24 hours. You could brine your chicken too, but since this is an organic chicken, my experience has been organic fresh chickens do pretty well. And so anyway, I forgot to brine it. So anyway, and then we're gonna get our YS chicken rub, which is now a new favorite of mine. And this will be our base. We wanna get this one all over the chicken. Looking good, looking good. Yeah, you want a good layer here because it's gonna do well to put lots of seasoning on. And I'm actually going to pull some of this skin back and put some seasoning on. It's fun, Matt says Mrs. Meat Church, my wife Paula, does not love skin very much. So I will kind of endeavor, maybe perhaps some of you don't like it either. So I'm gonna pull some of this skin back just so I can get underneath here. Little cuts here and there. There we go. Get some seasoning in there, and then in addition to that, we're gonna make sure our sauce goes on the inside too. So everything gets chickened up, sauced up, seasoned up. All right, let's move on to the next part, which is the throne. And of course, A&W natural cane sugar, Canada's finest root beer. We're just gonna pour a bunch here in our throne. So it doesn't look like it's gonna hold a lot, but with this wide base, I think it actually is gonna hold a lot of liquid. Of course, you can't fill it up past here. So I'm just gonna pour a little slowly. I think we'll get almost past most of the bottle, actually. Hey, that's surprising, right? The whole bottle. I didn't think the whole bottle would fit, but there you go. Wide base, 1 complete bottle of A&W. And now our chicken, you know, goes on the throne. So here we go. Ta-da! Your throne. And here we go. Now let's get this over to the Yoder, which I've got running at 350. Let's get it going.
Dracarys.
All right, we got a Yoder up to 350. You cook at 325, 400. Fast, slow, the more smoke, the longer. You get a little more smoke, so I'm cooking right in the middle at 350. Don't want to be here all day. It's a small chicken. You know, that's probably going to take, what, an hour and a half, maybe a little longer. I'm going to put the probe in, actually, later. But for now,
Dracarys.
Let's get this on. Now, as you can see, I've removed the shelf so we could fit our chicken in. Now, since this is full of beverage, I want to be careful. There we go. There's our chicken on its throne. Check that out.
I am the king.
Put that in. There we go. Now let's see if I can move that up a little bit. There we go. It's hilarious. All right, there's just a few spots I could see where I could use a bit more spice, so let me put a top bit of spice in here. But otherwise, that is our chicken, and it is a cooking.
My father won the real war. He killed Prince Rhaegar. He took the crown while you hid under Castle Rock.
The king is tired. See him to his chambers.
All right, let's get to making our sauce, our saucy sauce. First of all, we start with ketchup. So about 2 cups, which I'm just gonna throw in pretty much this whole bottle, I think. Actually, I should probably measure, right? I probably should measure more. Anyway, G. Hughes, check this out, no sugar added. Now, it's not like we're not putting sugar in this thing, but I guess my philosophy is if I can minimize in some way the sugar, but you're gonna see how kind of silly that is anyway. We're gonna put in 2 good cups, which I think is gonna wind up being, yeah, the whole bottle. That's good, putting the whole bottle. Thanks to the folks at G. Hughes for providing that. I met all their folks at Seattle, actually, so they're giving it a taste. It's really good. Oh man, that's good ketchup. All right, so check that ketchup out. Now, into that we go, a bottle of A&W Classic, since 1919, root beer, Canada's finest. In we go. Good, 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 good. And of course, we're using the Ensemble, my wonderful Ensemble pots. Then we're gonna put in about 2 tablespoons of beef rub. And once again, thanks to Matt Pittman, and thanks to All Barbecue Canada for supplying the YS and the spices, for being my partners in all this. Matt's probably a little frustrated if he's watching this that I'm not using his spices, but I'll get to those in another episode. That's about 2 tablespoons in there. All right. Instead of brown sugar, because we're Canada, using Canadian, we're gonna put in a cup of maple sugar. There we go. Like I said, using a no sugar added is not really, I guess it's all just, you know, it's all gonna burn off. Anyway, there you go. I want a little bit of heat. So that's your basic stuff. That's got your base. Now, in addition to that, you could add in chili flakes. I'm gonna add in gochujang, which is a Korean hot paste, which I love the flavor of. We call that a sweet heat. Just finishing this off. I got this out in LA. Shout out to Jim and Kent, my partners in LA. So there's some gochujang. I'm gonna put in a cup of dash of pepper. There we go. And we're done. Now give it a good stir. Of course, stirring it with my chicken.ca. Thanks to the folks at chicken.ca. We're using Ontario chicken today. Give that a stir. And on to our barbecue it goes. So there's, it smells amazing. Very different. We're gonna thicken that up because right now it is not thick. So we're just gonna start up our barbecue side heater. And we're gonna cook that for about 30 minutes because we want that to get thick on there, and we're gonna let that reduce and cook kind of at a medium hot heat. So let me just turn it down a little bit. I'll bring it to boil, and then we're gonna reduce it, let it go for half an hour. All right, well, it's been about an hour and a half. It's a smaller sized chicken. We've been cooking at 350. My temp now is closing in on 165, 167. Mrs. Last Request Barbecue likes a more cooked chicken.
Dracarys!
Oh, whew, we got some nice smoke. Beautiful. Now, time has come to baste this chicken. So we have our beautiful sauce here. Check that sauce out. It has turned out fantastic. Thanks to Ensemble for the handle. I can grab my handle and bring it over here. So let's just baste this chicken. Now I just kind of like to, let's just drop it in. Just like this. I don't want to wipe everything off, but we're gonna do a couple of bastings. The sauce has thickened up quite nicely. There we go, look at that. Pouring right in, exactly what we're hoping. Oh, a little bit under here you need. We are probably about 10 minutes from eating. All right, we'll let that cook for a little few minutes more and then baste again. All right, basting round 2. Looking good, man. Oh, don't really need this basting. That's looking amazing. Okay, so at this point, rookie mistake, my microphone ran out of power and I didn't realize it, so I keep talking. So I'm gonna do the voiceover. So this is the AP Yoder Smokers from All Barbecue Canada. It goes delicious on the asparagus, the little camelina oil. Now what I'm pointing out here is, you know, you look at that chicken throne, and at the beginning of the show, I talked about how there is some, you know, does it really work? Does it really imbue moisture into the chicken? Well, there's there's almost no liquid gone. I mean, there's still lots of A&W root beer in the chicken thrown, so I don't know how much is actually going up into the chicken. So, whatever. It's a lot of fun. It's another angle there. You can see how much is left in the thrown. Now, it does make the chicken all kind of weird, like, and open and all this stuff. So it does make it a bit awkward to cut, or I'm just making it awkward with using this big knife. I don't know, one thing or the other. The other thing I'd mentioned is what I kept forgetting to do in the show is just say Dracarys every time I started the barbecue. But anyway, think of that later. And, my editor Bethany's kind of helping me out make some Game of Thrones stuff in here. Anyway, delicious. Listen, the chicken was delicious. We got some Portuguese potatoes there, some lovely potatoes that we made with a bit of mayonnaise, enjoyed with a delicious New Zealand Chardonnay. I'm tasting it here. The chicken was very, very moist, a little bit sweet. There's Ziggy going over to see if there's any left for him. He's sniffing around. He'll get some later. Listen, make this recipe. Dracarys, love Game of Thrones. It's all good. Enjoy. Have fun.
I am the king